International relations is a complex field. It grapples with issues of war, peace, and global governance. Traditional theories like realism and liberalism have long dominated the discipline. They offer important insights, but they often fall short. Critical theory provides an alternative lens. Critical theory challenges assumptions. It questions power structures. It seeks to understand how they shape global politics. Think of it as holding a mirror to the world. This approach helps us to see beyond the surface. This essay delves into the realm of critical theory. We'll explore the works of three prominent thinkers, Robert W. Cox, Andrew Linklater, and Richard Devetak. Each scholar offers a unique perspective. All three challenge us to think differently. By engaging with critical theory, we gain a deeper understanding of international relations. We can then use this knowledge to create a more just and equitable world. Robert W. Cox is a giant in critical theory. He argues that knowledge is always embedded in power relations. He famously said, "Theory is always for someone and for some purpose." Cox challenges us to ask, whose interests are served by a particular theory? He introduces the concept of social forces, states, and world orders. This framework helps us to analyze how power operates at different levels. Social forces such as capitalism shape the international system. States are not just unitary actors, they are influenced by internal power dynamics. And world orders reflect the dominant ideas and interests of powerful actors. Cox's work is crucial for understanding the historical evolution of the international system. It helps us to see how power has been distributed and contested over time. This understanding is key to creating meaningful change. Andrew Linklater focuses on the concept of political community. He argues that traditional IR theory has a narrow view of this concept, often limiting it to the nation-state. Linklater challenges this state-centric perspective. He envisions a world where political communities can transcend national borders. He emphasizes the importance of dialogue, empathy, and understanding. For Linklater, the goal is to create a more inclusive and just global order. This order would recognize the rights and needs of all people, regardless of their nationality. His work inspires us to imagine a different kind of future. Richard Devetak's contributions to critical theory center on challenging dominant narratives in international relations. He argues that these narratives often serve to legitimize existing power structures. Devetak encourages us to question the stories we tell ourselves about global politics. Who benefits from these stories? What perspectives are silenced? His work is deeply concerned with issues of justice and emancipation. By deconstructing traditional narratives, Devetak aims to create space for alternative voices and perspectives. This approach is essential for challenging injustice and promoting a more equitable world. Section 5. Critical Theory and the Real-World Case Studies in Action. Let's look at how critical theory helps us understand real-world events. Take the 2003 invasion of Iraq. Traditional international relations theory might focus on the balance of power or national interest. Critical theory digs deeper. It examines the role of dominant ideologies like neoconservatism in shaping US foreign policy. It analyzes the historical context of colonialism and intervention in the Middle East. By applying a critical lens, we gain a more nuanced understanding of the Iraq War and its consequences. We see how power, ideology, and history intersect to shape global events. Section 6. The enduring relevance of critical theory. In a world facing complex challenges, critical theory is more relevant than ever. Climate change, global inequality, and the rise of new technologies all demand critical engagement. Traditional IR theories often struggle to explain these challenges. They tend to focus on state-centric solutions. Critical theory, on the other hand, offers a broader perspective. It encourages us to consider the role of social movements, non-state actors, and global civil society. It pushes us to think systemically about the interconnected nature of global problems. Section 7. Bridging the Gap: Critical Theory and Policymaking. Critics often argue that critical theory is too abstract. They say it fails to offer practical policy solutions. However, critical theory can inform policymaking in important ways. By understanding power dynamics and historical injustices, policymakers can develop more effective and equitable solutions. For example, addressing climate change requires challenging the power of fossil fuel companies. Critical theory can help to identify and dismantle the structural barriers to progress. It encourages policymakers to consider the long-term consequences of their actions. Section 8. Criticisms and counterpoints. Critical theory is not without its critics. Some argue that it is too focused on critique and lacks a positive vision for the future. Others contend that it is too idealistic and ignores the realities of power politics. While these criticisms have some merit, they often overlook the nuances of critical theory. Critical theory is not about simply tearing down existing structures. It is about understanding how power operates in order to create a more just and equitable world. Section 9. Conclusion: a call to action. Critical theory challenges us to think differently about international relations. It encourages us to question assumptions, challenge power structures, and work towards a more just and equitable world. By engaging with the ideas of Cox, Linklater, Devetak, and other critical theorists, we can gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of global politics. This understanding is essential for creating a better future. The world needs more critical thinkers, individuals who are willing to ask tough questions and challenge the status quo. Let us embrace the insights of critical theory and work together to build a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world.